Good YouTube, Cardfight can't hear AQUA Life Baby, you already know. And today, guys, I want to bring you an update to my Blue Wave deck. Now, I want to say right now that certain parts in this deck are experimental, so to speak. I'm trying to find something new with this deck. I'm trying to rework it and get it to where I'm comfortable with it again. But right now I'm just experimenting with different things. I know that we're getting support in set 9, and I'm gonna do a video on set set 9 and what I think we can look forward to there. Early predictions. But as it stands right now, I think this deck definitely needs a little something that it's missing in a way. And so right now I'm just experimenting with some other cards to see if I can find something I'm comfortable with, comfortable that I am with working with it. But as always, guys, please let me know what you guys think. Leave any suggestions, leave any deck lists. Definitely, if you guys leave your deck list, we can definitely talk about your deck in relation to my deck and my past decks, and something that I can try. We can both try something like that. I always enjoy reading the comments and us discussing the deck, especially Aquaforce decks. This AQUA Life. So, yeah, definitely, guys. If you have any suggestions or deck lists you want to post, questions, whatever, just comment down below, and we'll get to talking about it. But for the deck profile, let's get this ball rolling. Alright, so starter is still Dagger Master Draco Kid. I like this card. Gives some good advantage, especially if you're a little bit behind. You can use it on your first stride and get a nice free draw. So this guy definitely puts in some work. Definitely better on the Tetra Boil turn. But sometimes you got to use him a little bit earlier than you need to if you want to get to where you're going, especially if you need to build up a little bit of advantage back. Rest of the triggers: 4 heals, 4 Malika, 4 Supersonic, going to Soul, and 4 Brutal Trooper, because Brutal Trooper is amazing. Now, I am considering going to 7-5, just a little bit more draw power. And I understand that this deck does have some draw power with Brutal Trooper, but remember I told you guys, Brutal Trooper only replaces himself. The only time he's an extra draw power is if you're restanding with Tetra Drive, Tetra Drive or Tetra Boil. That's the only way he turns into actual draw power. Other than that, he's replacing himself so that you can draw into other cards, and then he goes back into the deck and starts to cycle around again for you to hit. Other than that, he's really not a draw card. So I've been trying to find ways to gain it, to get a bit more advantage to your hand and whatnot. Because sometimes in this deck, I do have a problem with getting to my rear guards. For some odd reason, I'm just not drawing into my rear guards that I need to pressure my opponents with. So, I'm hoping that maybe I might try 7-5, so that I might have a higher chance of hitting a draw trigger and drawing into what I need to, while keeping that same crit aggression with 7 crit. So it's just something I might experiment with. But right now, 8-4-4. Yeah. All right, on to grade 1. All right, grade 1, still the unflipping Perfect Guard. Counterblast is pretty valuable in this deck, so I want to make sure that and it's just an overall better ride target in general. So I just want to make sure that I have that unflipping there when one's in the drop zone. So extend combos, really good. 4 stride enablers. This is a stride focused deck as well, so we want to be able to stride as often as possible. 3 copies of Stacia. Stacia's still a really, really good card, guys. She's really good. 9K from the back row. I talk about how good she is, but you guys just just play with her, and she is so good, so useful. Perfect on the Lambros turns. Perfect for extending your combos. Letting Tidal Assault swing at a rear guard, then her just creating that 4th battle from the back row is just so good. So she's definitely a really good card. And I put her at 3 because I wanted to see her more often and get her onto the board and poking. And then I'm running 2 copies of Orthea. Now, the reason why I'm running 2 copies of Orthea in this deck is, it's one of those experimental things I'm trying out. Because I wanted to have a card that's going to stay on the board during bad matches, but also a card that helps me get to the 4th battle and can extend the amount of attacks in a turn. Putting her behind Foivos is pretty nice. Putting her behind Tidal Assault when you pump them up is pretty nice. On the Lambros turn, she's also works, and her resist works out really well too in a lot of cases. So she's a card that I'm have high hopes for in this deck. And I'm going to test her out and see if she deserves an extra slot or not. So we'll see about that. Now I know that I took out the Bright Shooter and the Penguin, and I know a lot of you guys do like when I had the Penguin in, the Soul Blast one, give 3k to something, and Bright Shooter. But again, right now I'm just experimenting. I'm trying to see how she works, because she worked out really well in Thavas. So I'm trying to see if, but I took her out of Thavas. I have a different build of Thavas in a way, but I'll show you guys that later too. But I'm just trying her out to see if she fits into the deck a little bit better than those two. So it's all about hitting the lap with these decks. All right, on to grade 2. All right, so start with the grade 2 line with the man that needs no explanation. My man, Tidal Assault. My favorite rear guard in AQUA 4 is my main man. Always puts in work. 4 copies of Foivos. Another one of my main mans in Blue Wave. Just a very good card, very amazing card. He's a card, him and Tidal are cards that you want to see early and often, pretty much. So definitely got to play 4 and 4 of those. Now, a card that I'm experimenting with and trying out is 4 copies of Marine General of the Sonic Speed Nectarios. Now, this is also my first time using this card as well, but in the games I've actually play tested with him, he actually has come in handy a lot. So what he does is on the wave, first or second time only, when he attacks a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1. He gains 2,000 power, so he becomes 11k attacker. And then at the end of the battle, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, search for up to 1 card with the wave ability, and call it to the same rearguard circle as he is. And then put the rest of the cards that you searched at the bottom of your deck in any order. Then put him at the bottom of your deck. So what he does is he searches your deck for cards with the wave ability, and he's an 11k attacker who can also create another battle. There was one time when I used his ability, and I got a Foivos off the top of the deck, called the Foivos, and so then Foivos was second. Then I had my Vanguard as the second battle. Then Foivos is the third, fourth, and things like that. So he definitely really helped in that situation. And I was trying to figure out how many wave cards do I play in this deck to make his ability a bit relevant, which is what I was thinking. I play 4 of him. I play 4 Foivos. That's 8. I play 4 Anger Boil. That's 12. So essentially when he's on the board, I have 11 targets in my deck that I can hit. If they're not already in my hand or on the board or damage zone, I have 11 targets in my deck that I can hit. Now, here's the good thing about him. I don't have to call out a card. It says choose up to 1. And if I called a card, I get to, I send him to the bottom of the second round. So I can just Soul Blast 1 and have him be 11k and not move and stay where he is. And I think that's pretty good as well. And I thought about putting some other, wave cards in the from in grade 1s there, but I figured I'd rather only call it. So he's an 11k attacker, and if I want to call out a card or if I miss, he's going to sit there as a 9k. So I'm finding ways to work with him, and so far, he hasn't been bad. He has not been a bad card at all. He's been a good card that I'm still working with, trying to develop plays around and things like that. So I just encourage everybody to test this card out. If anybody does use this card, let me know what kind of combos you do with him. Let me know how he's been doing for you at locals and play testing and tournaments, whatever it is. Let me know how he's been working with you if you do play this card. But so far, he's piqued my interest right now. So yeah, you might see him in a playtest game, later on, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it is. All right, and grade 3. All right, so for grade 3, still running 4 copies of Tetra Drive. Where's my SP copy of Tetra Drive? There you are, baby. Tetra Drive, my main man here. I still like, again, you run him for the name. You run him because he has Blue Wave in his name. And sometimes, depending on where you are in battle, you can actually use his limit break skill and win the game. I've done that in tournament where, rather than striding, I went to use his limit break ability, and I won a game off his limit break ability about, twice, within my last 3 or 4 tournaments. But it has come up. Plus, he's your name. Now, the reason why I'm running, and you already know what he does, so no need to explain Tetra Drive really. But also running 4 copies of Anger Boil. Still, now the reason why I'm running 8 instead of 7, I was experimenting with 7 and 8, but it's because I want to have a higher chance of drawing into a 3 to stride with, and also since we play Screw, we can drop a 3 to for Screws would be 10k. But I just felt as if that I have this thing of getting grade locked that I really just don't like, and I want to have a nice higher chance of getting to the unit that I need to ride up to 3 so that I can unlock the full abilities of my deck, which is why I wanted to get to 3. Obviously, Anger Boil is the better ride. GB2, he's a mini Lambros, and then when you stride Tetra Boil on him, you get to restand up to 2 cards and give him plus 3,000 power. So he's definitely the better ride, but Tetra Drive is in there because he's not a bad backup. You want one, and he also has his name. He also has the name Blue Wave, so you need that if you want to play Blue Waves. All right, and on to strides. And he restands. Okay, guys. So for the strides, start with the G Guardians. 2 Floatia. Now I'm going to be changing Floatia out for either another copy of Dismal or another copy of Screw. I'm probably going to take one of her out for one of these 2, but the reason why is because she is not that good. She's just not that good. There's a lot of decks in the game now. Gear Chronicles, and I mean powerhouse decks like Gear Chronicles, Royal Paladins, and things like that. Nova Grapplers, if you ever see them, and even Shadow Palace, who can play around this card, and Overlord too in a way. And Floatia, she, the fact that she's restricted to wave 1 or 2 means that anything that's 3rd or higher, she's just a vanilla 26 on it. And if my G Guardian is going to be a vanilla 26, I'd rather have it be a Dismal. I would rather have it be a Dismal because then I can at least protect something. That's what I'm saying, is that I am just, not a big fan of Floatia, and hopefully in set 9 we get a much better G Guardian, because trust me on everything, I will be taking her out for whatever G Guardian we get in set 9 if we do not get screwed. And we've been screwed before in Legion, but yes, I will be taking her out for whatever G Guardian we get in set 9, because she just does not really. She doesn't really. I might run one, and I'm deciding between a Dismal and Screw. So let me know what you guys would rather run, a Screw or a Dismal in place of her. But for right now, just 2 of these until the stuff I have comes in the mail. All right, on to the rest of the strides. Obviously, we're playing a Sea Breeze in the deck. The reason why we're playing a Sea Breeze is because some of our cards are G-Break and we want to unlock them. There's nothing better than having a Sea Breeze and then dropping a Stacy and have her poke at a 9k for 9. It's pretty fun, very good. I'm running a copy of Blizza. Now, people might say, why the heck are you running a Blizza? Well, I was talking with my boy Gabe down Paris 21 when I actually played him in the Dynasty Cup, and one of the things that I've noticed by playing in the Dynasty Cup a few weeks ago or a month ago, whatever it was that I only lost to two people that day, both Chaos Breaker players, and obviously, how I lost was different from what I'm going to tell you guys, but I figured that Blizza in the Chaos Breaker matchup is, going to be a game saver. Because what it does is, you just flip 1 when you're attacking against 5,000 for each face-up stride. Well, by then I should have strode into 2 Commander Thavases in a way already. And so when I use Blizza, I can flip up a Sea Breeze and or a Floatia or whatever it is, depending on the situation. And Blizza is going to be a lot more powerful. And the one thing that Chaos Breaker does have trouble against is center column pressure. When they run out of perfect guards and things like that, they do have a problem with center column pressure. So Blizz is a type of card that you can use to, if it doesn't get perfect guarded, which can happen obviously, but if they don't have a perfect guard, they're going to be dropping a lot of cards just to guard him, or we're going to get a solid no guard, and hopefully we can hit a crit trigger or something, or if they're at 5 damage, we can finish them off. So really, I put him in here because he is another. He's just a card that is good in our worst matchup. And when I did some test games, Blizzard definitely worked out in that regard. When your front row's locked and you're sitting there with with a face like, man, I don't like you, but I can still beat you. That's the type of card. And the other MVP is Commander Thavas. I run 4 of them because it's my baby right there. It's my man's right there. I love that card. He's another one of our outs to Link Joker, being able to give a unit 5k in back row attack. Just an overall really good card. If they leave him and Stacia on the board, we can get to the third. We can get 2 battles in. Then if we put 5k on a Foivos that we just call out in a back row or something like that, Foivos will be 16 swinging twice. I mean, really, really good card, guys. And his retirability is also something something to look forward to. But again, between Thavas and Blizza, I've now have added 3 cards into my deck that I can fight Link Jokers with a little bit easier. So there's that. 2 copies of Lambie Bambi Baby because he's Lambie Bambi, and usually a lot of times you only need to go into Lambros once to finish your opponent off in this deck. So that's really much why I'm running 2 copies of Lambros. I want to run 4 copies of Lambros, and I might try and fit 4 in, but right now 2's been working fine. And then 4 copies of Tetra Boil, the main finisher, the main stride in this deck, really. We're running all the powerhouse strides Aquaforce has. Tetra Boil, Thavas, and Lambie Bambi. So Tetra Boil is obviously the main stride of the deck. He restands when your rear guard attacks an opponent's Vanguard on the 4th battle of the turn, but on the 2nd battle when you attack with him, you flip a card up. You counter one, flip a copy of himself up. So yes, definitely a very good, very solid card. Restanding Vanguards are always pretty good. But one thing I do need to work on in this deck is being able to build an effective field. And that's something that I've been practicing and trying to do, because I don't feel as if I've been building fields that have been putting too much pressure on the opponent. And some of it probably has to do with calling out a trigger here or there or something like that. But it could have also been my deck build, because my grade 2 line was kind of funky. So far Nectarios is working out pretty nicely. I'm going to see how everything else does, but so far it's been working out pretty nicely, and all it takes is more testing, more labbing, and I think next time I go to a tournament that's not a Dynasty Cup or whatever it is, then I will probably play Blue Waves and see how the deck performs then. Alright, but that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to do a discussion about set 9 and what we can, most likely expect from there. My predictions, my hype, my excitement for set 9, that we made it, guys. I know some of you guys were like, oh, I hope set 9 we get Aquaforce support. And I was like, bruh, I know. But I had my doubts, but we're getting support in set 9. I'm happy. My brother's excited that he's getting Narukami support in set 9, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yep. So he's pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. We're all pretty happy. Life, baby. Boy. So yeah, I got some new things I'm testing out in Thavas. If you guys want to see another Thavas deck, for what I'm working with right now, I'll show it to you guys. I'm also going to be doing a Thavas deck that does not feature Commander Thavas. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because a lot of you guys do not have this card or only have 2 copies of this card. So I'm going to build a Thavas deck that does not include Commander Thavas, and I'm going to show you guys, different cards and options and whatnot that you can run, outside of Commander Thavas. All right, but because I know a lot of you guys have been asking for that, so I'm work on that and deliver it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed deck profile, and I'll see y'all later. AQUA Life Baby, we out. Peace.